Hey everybody, my name's Troy Aberle, and I get the opportunity today to welcome you to an exciting interview that I'm doing with a really good friend of mine, Sarah, who's an empowerment coach, a best-selling author, an artist, and someone who has an incredible talent with being able to combine all of her modalities together to create a magical healing experience for people and really show them a way of starting a brand new chapter in their life. And I'm super privileged to be able to be asked by Sarah to do an interview for her and really show you why it is that she's so powerful to have in your life. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Troy. I really appreciate you, and you've been such an amazing influence in my life. And we've known each other over a year, and I just love the connection we have, and it's just an honor to be here with you today.
Today, I want to, really highlight it is what you do because I want the world to really see a lot more about you, Sarah. And I want to find out, a little bit about, your history from where you were before to where you are today and the journey you've gone through and how it is that you're being able to combine all of the things that you've learned and execute and now have the opportunity to inspire people and do some really great work for people who want to invest time and energy into what it is that you have to offer.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet. So let's talk a little bit about where you are at today to start off with. What is it that you're offering people, and then we'll get into some of the reasons, the why behind it. But I'd like to get right to the point of what is it that you're doing for people, that and what does that journey look like? What is that product or and service and the ultimate experience that you're able to create for people? How does that look?
I create lasting change in people through art. A lot of times what happens is people go through trauma or PTSD. For myself, I've gone through a lot of grief and a lot of different things in my life. And um, I've discovered art as a way of healing and processing that. And so what I offer people is really that process, and I can walk them through and hold them through that grief process for people who are stuck. This week, I talked with a really dear friend of mine who her husband passed away a year ago, and she's just on that cycle, and she's having a really difficult time letting go of him. And I've been there, and not my husband, but I've been in similar situations. So I help people walk through that and implement, also integrate self-development as well.
That's really cool. And I think it's really cool, just some perspective around that for people is it's interesting how, sounds and sight and things have really, worked with NLP and different types of conditioning that you can do for yourself. And I think it's so powerful being able to see some of the things that Sarah's been able to show me through art. And I can't help but notice a lot of the things you've shown me is right behind you. But I
Yeah.
think being able to go through that and help deal with your emotions, no matter what emotion, and put that on paper and really reflect on it really opens up your heart and soul.
Yeah, it's really been life changing for me because a lot of times people, when they go through trauma, they go to a counselor, or they go and they journal and they do different things, or they talk to a friend. And there's a lot of different resources for people out there to process that. But what I discovered is that if you don't process and get out of your body, it's going to stay in there. It's going to make you unhealthy, and it's going to get you sick. Some people get sick from it. And so what I do is be able to walk them through that process and create something on a canvas where they're not even using their words. And it's just, sometimes it's subconscious, and they're able to release that and get through it and get past that. And that's what I love about it.
That's really cool. Tell me something. If you looked back in your previous chapter of your life, if you will, you had to go through some of this yourself too, just like your ideal client would. What would that look like for you, Sarah, if you could share with us a little bit about, the journey you've gone through and how, then take us into where you had that aha moment and said, hey, you know what, I've realized that putting that my experience, but also my passion of art, how that can flow together so that, that I can understand, and the audience is, where it is you came from and why.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Well, a couple of years ago, I'll share this experience when my dad passed away. And I didn't realize how much it was going to impact me. And it was just this whole process of grief. And I went through a period where I had a lot of anxiety. I would go to social events and I'd have anxiety attacks, like just breaking down, crying, shaking. And along that path, I discovered, I mean, I've always been a person that's been very positive. I've always been a person that seeks self-development. I've always been that person who is trying to better myself. And however, I found myself stuck. I was stuck in this realm of anxiety, and it was crippling, even for a period of time where I stopped being on Facebook because looking back at it, it was hard for me to look at everybody post about their families and the things that I couldn't have anymore. And it was just really crippling for me. And so over time, I found art about 4 years ago. And the thing about art is you don't have to have a painting where it's going to be in a museum. You don't have to be considered a great artist. And I am not that person professing to be, I'm a wonderful artist. Art for me is just a way to express yourself. And that's all it is. And the beautiful thing about what I found is how I really discovered this was about 5 months ago. And I was dealing with an unexpected breakup with my boyfriend. And through intuition, I was able to come up with a series of processing this breakup and healing through it. And I was like, I don't know how it's going to come. I just had this idea. And then one day after I woke up, or after I got done exercising, I just started crying and tears just flew from me. And I had pictures. I had 6 pictures of what I was going to paint. And so I took a lot of notes and I jotted down and did a lot of voice memos and just, let it process through. And then I started on it. It took me about 70 to 80 hours of painting all of these 6 pictures. But through it, at the end of it, I was able to look at it and just feel like had been healed and had been able to process some stuff from even my dad's death 2 years ago and all the unexpected things. And just really what I loved about it was look at it and look at some of the good memories. Because I think what happens is people, when they have trauma or bad things happen, even abusive situations, is they focus on the negative, excuse me. And they'll focus on all the bad things about what had happened. But what I do is I actually switch their brain, or, get them to look at things a little bit differently and remember some of those good memories. And then that way you can actually help move forward, because it's not all bad, right? So that's really what's helped me a lot. And I've been able to help other people with it. People dealing with abandonment, other people dealing with grief and a bad breakup. And I'm just so passionate about it because I know this is helping people. And I'm so happy about that.
I think it's really noble, and I was able to see a lot of those pictures that you'd done, and at first, you look at it, and all of a sudden you realize that there's these pieces or chapters or maybe segments in your life that you could see that this girl named Sarah was going through, and things that might be little blocks that happen and cause moments of fear,
Right.
moments of doubt, or moments of maybe a lack of self-worthiness. But being able to describe them and be totally open with possibility, I think, was really nurturing for me. The cool part is that I could say to you is I noticed that, I didn't have all the fancy tools for doing painting because I need to order those. But the cool part is even just taking my iPad and understanding that, drawing out some of the things of my original chapter in life, but being able to put that on paper and showing even moments of whether it be anger or sadness or things that you originally maybe drew up as your ideal life, seeing how it actually transferred into another stage of a better life, I think was really powerful. So I thank you for that. Do you think that, an ideal client for you, Sarah, could be, someone who's been through trauma, whether it be a bad relationship, maybe a first responder that was through, has been suffering grief, someone through divorce, or maybe someone who served in the military? What does that look like for you? Or what are the people that you absolutely love to work with? And could you describe them to us a little bit?
Yeah, I would love to. Really, it's for people who feel stuck in a lot of it's grief, or like you said, the trauma or the PTSD, where, like for our military, I feel like our military and our veterans are so underrated. And I just want to give back to that community because I feel like they have gone through so much. And some of them, have lost themselves. And I want to help people find themselves again and find hope in the future where they don't have to be stuck in that pattern of looking at the back or looking at the things that went wrong, but they have hope to move forward and get their best life. Um, so yes, my ideal client is working with somebody who just feels stuck and in grief or some kind of trauma. Now, we're going to do an assessment at first and make sure that because I'm not a psychologist, I don't have an education in that, but I'm just here to help you process that and move forward, because I find that, like I mentioned before, if we don't get it out in some healthy way, it's gonna come out in an unhealthy way, whether that's just continuing in that same thought process of repeating that pattern and that mentality and that the negative mindset, where I want to help you. I want to work with people who have that courage, who have courage to be on the front line in our healthcare systems, in our military, and have that courage to help other people, but also to help themselves and to face that. And I want to help walk them through that and help live them their best life and move forward with, because they're great people. These people serve, they have a heart to serve.
Well, I think,
and that's just admirable.
100% agree with you. And I think it's noble and beautiful. I think the point I'd like to help point out to people watching today is PTSD doesn't have to be because of war or because of first responder service. PTSD can be because someone actually said something you really bad at work. You can have trauma instances that of any kind of level, whether or not it was just a thought or a vision or something that made you feel bad about yourself. I think it'd be cool to be able to work through that using the modality of art, like what you've said. And you have a huge heart and a really soft way of, I think, of looking at it and dissecting, peeling back the layers of the onion, as you call it, to really try and find out what is that root cause of that, of that sourness. And I think that's really huge. Sarah, when you, what is a person, when they come to you, is it often fear that's holding them back or scared to talk about things? Or is it a business person that doesn't want to feel like they're vulnerable to their competition? Is it somebody who is worried that they're going to be judged? What does that look like?
I think a lot of times what it is, it's somebody, they're adults and they've lost their childhood.
Yeah.
They've lost, maybe they've liked art, maybe they liked creative things when they were little, but they're grown up and they don't have a way to express themselves anymore. And they've just kind of gotten lost in that. And so really it's somebody who, wants to tap into that inner child and wants to give themselves freedom to be happy and to live your best life. And to really, it's okay to have your dreams and to pursue them and help them come true.
Totally. And that brings up a lot of more interesting points for me is trying to figure out building that whole journey and being able to then to reflect and go through a phase of maybe a phase is the wrong word, but maybe a package of coaching classes with you, and being able to then go through maybe before when my life seemed so defined, and you had events or interruptions that maybe changed that course, being able to walk through that with you, be able to also then express myself with artistry. Could you explain more about how that could look like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually what my program is. It's really the main one that I do. It's really a 6-week series where I take you through whatever's blocking you. And I ask you, okay, what's your main goal and what's your accomplishment? What do you want to see out of this series? And, what's blocking you? What do you want to get over? And then I take them through this process. Each week we'll meet and we'll go over a different subject. And then I'll offer tools and resources, basically on what they're working with. Like one lady, I gave her financial tools, and another lady, I gave her, information on grief or advice and different things that I've learned. And so each week we'll go over a different subject. And towards the end of it, we're going to be talking about, okay, what's the next, like you say, next chapter? What's the next stage of your life going to be like? And that way it gives them something to look forward to. Because I've found in my life where through all the hard times and the difficult times. And I've been through a lot. I don't want to, that's another uh, interview, but always that got me through those hard times was having something to look forward to. And so that's what I want to help give people the resources, like, okay, what is your best life? What does your life look like if you're able to process this grief and let go of that relationship? What can you do? What does that look like? And give them some of the tools and resources that. So yeah, that I walk people through that. Absolutely.
So in a package, if I did a 6-week package with you, could you make it my life easier and send me some supplies or a list of what it is that I could, so I could walk through that with you, or how does that look?
Yeah, absolutely. So each week I have specific content, and I'll email that to you based on what our conversations were, and different tools and resources that we have. And then, so it might be a book that I recommend, or it may be, just different things so that it's tailored to you on what your needs are. But yeah, so I'll email that to you, or I'll give you some homework. And then what it looks like each week for the subject, like the art, the painting. So I'll give you a specific subject on what we're talking about that week, and then you'll have a week to either complete that painting, and then we'll talk about it, what came up for you, what different feelings, how hard was it, how easy was it, and just kind of take a moment to really allow yourself to go through those feelings, because that's a big part of this too. Is a lot of times, and I've seen this with people who've worked in the military, where they don't give themselves permission to process those feelings. So that's what this is about. I'm allowing you time to process that and to focus on that and just experience it. People, a lot of times they look at anger and sadness that is bad. It's like, it's there for a reason. Honor it, take time to process it. And so I really help nurture that and walk you through that, and just encourage people, don't stay there though. You want to acknowledge it, but don't stay there. And that's really the main point.
So Sarah, talk to me. I'm going through trauma. I've been dealing with a lot of issues. I've gone through some bad turmoil, financially, physically, economically, and I had to serve in the military. How can you help me?
I love working with people who have gone through different instances in their life, but are courageous, are strong, have an inner strength that they want to become a better person, and just have that aspect of them where they know they have it deep inside of them and they have that courage. And I want to help pull that out of them. And what I offer is one-on-one coaching and a series specifically with 6 weeks where I work with them to help them process what they're stuck on, and what has, maybe they've gone to other coaches, maybe they've gone to other, classes or read books, or they've invested a lot of time into working through this and nothing else has happened. And so what I'm offering is something unique and different through art, where they can process that through a series. And at the end of it, it's going to be their masterpiece, where they can look at it with pride and look at what they've done and accomplished, and really take pride in their trauma, or the thing that's happened in their life, and say, it's happening for me, not to me. And that's what I offer, and that's what I'm helping people work through. And I just love doing it, because I've had some amazing success, and that's what gives me joy in life, is to wake up each day hearing from people like, you're helping me so much. And it gives me so much joy to offer this program, because I know it's helped me, and I know it's helping other people as well.
Do you have a promise that you could give me that I'm going to feel when I'm done working with you? Or like a pinky swear promise?
I promise I will help get you to the next level.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Troy.
The last thing I'd like to leave with is, what does the future of Sarah look like? Where is she going in her next chapter, and what is she looking forward to? Is it working with groups, or is it working with one-to-one? Do you work with corporations where you can do like team building projects? Where do you see Sarah? And, are you looking forward to trying to be on stages with public speaking or podcasts and things like that? Tell me a little bit about what you see. What's 2 years from now? Where is Sarah?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
My alarm. I've just got so much to look forward to right now. And there's a lot of that you mentioned that I can see myself doing. And I've actually been able to start doing some public speaking with some different women's groups right now. And I want to give so much. I want to share hope that people can find hope after all the stuff. If I've been through all this stuff, other people can get through it. And I just want to offer my story to help people understand that, to give them encouragement and inspiration that they can do it too. So yes, definitely public speaker. I'd love to be on podcasts. I want to do a podcast once a month is my goal. And also sell my artwork, because I have found, and from what people have told me, is that even though I don't feel like I'm a really great artist, it gives healing. People look at it and they can feel this emotions from it, and there's just that portrayer. So that's my another goal of mine, is to be in art galleries and be able to share that with the world, really, that gift that I have, to help people have wonderful feelings from the art that they see. And you kind of express some of that as well. And then also, I see myself, my goal is to have 5 clients a week and work in group settings and do one-on-one. And the reason why I want 5 clients is I know a lot of coaches in today's world, they try for a lot more, but I really want to make sure that I'm giving time to each and every client that I'm working with, because I want them to have quality time so that they know that my energy and my time is focused on them to help them succeed. And so that's why, I don't want to have an overloaded schedule, so that I can make sure that I get 100% quality for them.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So Troy, I created this one painting, and it was when I was focusing on all the negative emotions, the anxiety, the stress, the grief, the insecurities, the isolation, and I poured it out from my heart on canvas. And I would cry, and it was the one, and I call it grief. And it's the one that represented my father's funeral. And it was hard to paint that picture. I started it, and I had to leave it alone. I had to put it actually out of my sight because it was so powerful. And then I would come back to it after I felt I could face it. And that was the most difficult painting that I ever painted, because I was facing all of the emotions inside that I had been hiding from, and that I was trying to not face. And after it was completed, I just had such a feeling of release, and I had a feeling of hope and relief that it wasn't inside of me anymore. And that painting was so powerful that I would even look at it I would look at it, and it would induce those feelings of anger. It would bring those up again. And so I actually had to put that painting away as I moved forward through this process, because it brought up so much emotion in me. Now I'm able to look at it several months later and not have so much emotion